But here we are. And so arthritis. So today we're going to talk. Well, I'm here to answer your questions. So whoever's there and whoever's listening can start putting up some questions for me. But while I'm waiting for questions, I actually collected a whole list of questions, which I'm going to go back and pull up. If nobody has questions for me, I'll see what people submitted. But one of the things I was thinking I would start talking about is just general supplements that people use. Actually, I was standing in my kitchen just now and thinking, I should pull some supplements from my kitchen or food. Actually, I was thinking I should just bring food from the kitchen and just start showing you different food and anti-inflammatory food. And I love talking about that because at the end of the day, no matter what kind of arthritis you have, and we're talking about osteoarthritis, and even people, we had someone send an email in today with a question to our health coach about, bone on bone arthritis, like all the collagen's gone and the hip, it's bone on bone. And the doctor's telling you need a hip replacement. And, people, even if you have rheumatoid arthritis or osteoarthritis, you can end up in a situation where there's really a lot of the damage is so done to the collagen and the cartilage that there's just bone on bone. And here's the thing, no matter what kind of arthritis you have, once it's bone on bone, you can't really grow the collagen back. There's a lot of new studies that are really, a lot of new interesting technologies that are trying to do that, like stem cell treatments and such. But with just taking supplements, even though you're going to get like this, you'll get advertisements telling you to take MSM and chondroitin and glucosamine, they really don't do a great job at really giving you cartilage back. And so there's still a message of hope, though, that I want to tell you, that even if you have bone-on-bone arthritis, you can still have less pain in that joint. The amount of pain you're having is partially from the bone-on-bone. So there is some aspect to that you can't quite reverse, but you can tremendously reduce your pain and your inflammation by finding and treating the sources of inflammation in your body. It's really what we've been talking about. And so one of the simplest things, one of the things relating to food, so I want to talk about food as medicine. So we'll talk about this a little bit, but certainly give me your questions because this is a Q&A. But until I get questions, I'm just going to talk. One of the things that determines the amount of inflammation in your body is fish oil and omegas and the kind of fat. Like what kind of fat are your cells made of, right? And the fat that you eat determines this whole it's called the prostaglandin groupings of compounds that determine inflammation. And so that's why we often tell people to take fish oil, right? So what does fish oil do? And so I'm going to tell you a little, so what is fish oil? So let's even talk about that. So there's a kind of fat called omega-3s and 6s, and it's just about the positioning of the carbon. It's in the 3 position, the 6 position. And so omega-3s, you actually don't get from you get it from, your body can't make it from other things. So you must ingest it. And you can get omega-3s mostly in the form of the EPA and DHA that we call omega-3s are mostly found in fish. And you can get some, you can definitely get omega-3s from food, from plants and nuts and seeds, but your body has to sort of metabolize it and convert it to this thing called EPA, eicosapentaenoic acid. And EPA is, so a good question about fish oil or krill. And so let's talk about the different kinds of fish oil. And I thought that would be a fun way to start. And then, because here's the thing. The studies are very, very, very good for all kinds of arthritis, rheumatoid, psoriatic, osteoarthritis, for using fish oils or omega-3s at high doses to reduce pain and reduce inflammation, and it really works. So the first lesson, and we'll talk about krill, I'll get there, I promise. The first lesson, and I'm going to hold up this, I do not sell this. I actually, Nordic Naturals gave me this as a sample. So this is not me trying to sell you supplements, I promise. I'm just going to teach you about fish oils, okay? Like I said, I don't even sell this. I'm trying to get this not in the, so you can see it. It looks like it's getting a little bit, I don't know if you can all see this. Anyway, I'm sorry, my lighting in here, it's a little bit hard for you to see the bottle. Anyway, this is called, oh, there we go. This is called Pro Omega 2000. And the reason why it says 2000, I don't know if you can see on here. But you see there's a word EPA and DHA. So when you look at a bottle of fish oil, it's going to say fish oil, 1,000 milligrams. But you want to know how much EPA and DHA is in it, right? So this guy actually has 2,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA in one capsule. I mean, that's amazing, concentrated, right? And so you can see on the bottle, it says, I'm sorry, the light is being a little bit funny. All right. And it's reversed for me. So I go like this and I think it's the right side of my head. You know, it's very confusing. But anyway, this one for one capsule, it has 1125 of EPA and 875 of DHA. That is really, really, really good in one capsule. Because here's the thing, in the studies that show 3 grams, 3,000 milligrams of EPA plus DHA is like the anti-inflammatory, amazing sort of dosing. So you would only need, for this pill, you would only need really 1.5. You can't really cut it in half, but you couldn't even alternate and do 2 one day and 1 the next day, and that would average you out to 3 grams a day. And it's not a lot of pills to take. Other fish oil capsules, you have to take a lot, like 4 or 6 capsules to get up to those dosing. And so to reduce inflammation, the very first thing, and the way you work with this with food as well, you definitely supplement at the beginning to try to really get it like in good doses, okay? But eventually you'll need less and less, because as you eat more nuts and seeds, and as you eat a lot of olive oils, anti-inflammatory, but as you're eating more of these, you're filling up your body with this, your dosing might be able to come down. But for like the first 3 months, you need 3 grams a day of fish oil. Okay, this is going to make a huge difference in how your joints feel, and in your pain. So you can do fish oil like this in a capsule. My other favorite way is to do liquid. And so this is actually, this was from my kitchen. This is what we use here. It's cod liver oil. And so again, another nuance about different kinds of fish oil. So there's fish oil. And as you saw from this guy, this one has more EPA than DHA. So this is, EPA is 1125, DHA 875. EPA is the one that's the most anti-inflammatory. DHA, though, is really, really good for your brain, for your nervous system. It's good for mood. And so if you have youngsters in the house, or even for yourself, if you get a little blue in the winter, the nice thing about cod liver oil is it's a 50-50 ratio with DHA. And so I sort of like it in my house. I have, I like having the 50-50 DHA for the brain health and the cognition. And so this one is about in one teaspoon. I mean, it's really so amazing. In 1 teaspoon, you get, it's actually a little more DHA than EPA, but you can give this to children, which is amazing. It gives you children's dosing. And so this is like 800 milligrams in a teaspoon. So I tell people a tablespoon a day of cod liver oil, and you throw it in your shake. And this is a great company. This is called, this is Pharmax. This I do have in my office, actually. But I love this company. It's pure. It tastes great. It's like lemon. And you throw it in your shake and you don't even know you're doing. You just like, and it goes. And then it's really, really good. Really, really great place to start. Taking supplements does not replace your need to eat in a way that's anti-inflammatory. So you can't have a terrible diet and take fish oil pills and think that that's going to take care of things. Okay, so really important to keep that in mind. And so the kinds of fats you're eating, so less inflammatory animal fats, less dairy fat, more Mediterranean diet kind of fats, olive oil, nuts and seeds, fish, right? Green leafies gives you good omega-6s actually that come in a good way to the pathway. So whether you do a capsule or you do liquid, for the first 3 months of your arthritis program, and then you'll see where you go after that, 3 grams a day of EPA plus DHA. Repeat the brand of cod liver oil, please. Yes, this is called a Pharmax, Pharmax. You can see it right. I'm sorry. See, this is a gooey, this bottle, because it's from we just, it's being used. This is half full, this bottle, so there's a little oil on the outside of the label. You can see we've been using it, but it's called Pharmax, and they also make the Sorry, I'm reverse over here, so it's hard for me to get everything right. I use also, they have the one that I use though for my arthritis people. This is one I'm using in my house right now. I don't have arthritis anymore. But they have something called Finest Pure. They have Finest Pure fish oil. And their fish oil is super concentrated. In 1 teaspoon, you get almost 2,000 milligrams, like 2 grams in a teaspoon. So it's really great. It's super duper concentrated and clean, 100% pure. No, and that's the other thing. So when you're buying fish oil, Nordic Naturals is also a great company. I'm sorry, there's the light. This is Nordic Naturals. Yeah, they're a great company. They have liquid oils as well. And you want to make sure it says pharmaceutical grade. So on this bottle, it says, it always will say this. Better absorption, blah, 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 non-GMO verified, great. But it always says that it's guaranteed, it's pharmaceutical grade. So every batch of Nordic Naturals fish oils is tested by a third-party certified lab for environmental toxins, including heavy metals. So you want to make sure that the lab says that on their bottle. If it doesn't say it on the bottle, then you don't know that's pure, and you don't want to get all the toxins in with the oil. This company says it on the bottle as well. Independently tested for PCBs, dioxins, and furans, PAHs, and the absence of detectable levels of mercury and other heavy metals. So it must say that on the bottle. If it doesn't tell you that, then do not buy it. Okay. Now, my 2 other questions that, so this was one of the questions. Sorry. Oh, your name goes up there too. Sorry, Susan. I hope you don't mind. Which is better, fish or krill? So krill oil, krill is actually really cool. Krill oil is made from algae. And it has something called astaxanthins in it. So it has this really powerful antioxidant that you get with the krill. And so a lot of people say, what about krill? What about krill? And suggest using that because it's actually, it has multiple different kinds of phospholipids in it, which make it very absorbable. And so I actually really like krill oil. The only issue that I have is that there's studies on arthritis, and there are studies on fish oil and arthritis. Okay, and that's how I came up with your dose for you. 3 grams a day is the dosing that was used in the studies on people with rheumatoid arthritis and people with osteoarthritis. And whenever I talk about rheumatoid arthritis, by the way, all of you out there that have psoriatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, any autoimmune arthritis, I'm talking to all you. Okay, you're all in that grouping. There are research studies that have been done looking at this, and I haven't seen any studies using krill oil. But I love krill oil. I just don't see the studies. So I can't say to you, skip the fish oil and take the krill oil. If you want to also take a krill oil, great, because antioxidants is so important. And so krill oil brings you the astaxanthin. You can also take astaxanthin in its little capsule, which I actually did that for a long time when I had my eye inflammation, which was part of my whole arthritis sort of scare. I took astaxanthin for like 3 months, and until everything got better, and I really liked it. I try not to take a lot of supplements forever. I really try to use food. So my next question though about fish oil was, I want to begin using your supplements, but have difficulty swallowing some pills unless small. Can I put some of the supplements in a smoothie or other medium? Very good question. So one of the reasons I love prescribing capsules, most of the stuff I carry are capsules. You can open up everything and throw it in your shake. And I have patients who everything goes in the shake, and it's great. And that's one of the reasons why liquid fish oil, I try to encourage people to do the liquid. And the reason why is I think a lot of pills can become wearing on people. And the high dosing requires a lot of pills, and the fish oil pills are like this is a huge pill. I'll show you. So this is a big pill. It's pretty big. I mean, it slides down very easily. And so, but it is big. And so that's why liquid. And so the multivitamin, which is a liquid, you open it, stick it in your shake. The B Supreme or the B Complex, open it, stick it in the shake. Anything that's a capsule that opens, you can stick in the shake. There's certain things that smell really bad you won't want to put in the shake, like N-acetylcysteine and lipoic acid, like the sulfur kind of supplements, the antioxidants that are sulfur based. Those will smell up your shake and you might not want to put it in. So that is definitely that. Okay, boy, nice long question here. Hi, Susan. I'm so very bad with my knee. After I didn't took Synvisc injection. I'm not sure what that is. So Braca, I'm not sure what kind of injection that you did. It was the fourth one. The others before all went very well. It went very well and it helped a bunch, but now I'm back in pain. I cannot use my leg because my knee won't bend. I got a physical therapy appointment, but the hospital called to cancel it. And the next appointment would be, what shall I do to get better, to get the knee bend again? It is awful and painful. I don't know what injection that you had. There's a lot I don't know about you. And I think, though, it is important to, I think it's really important to have someone else look at that. I tend to really like, I send people a lot. I have a great, they're called physiatrists, a physical medicine and rehab. They're non-orthopedic sports medicine doctors. And I really send, that's where I send my physical hyaluronic acid. Is that it? A Hyalin injection. So hyaluronic acid is an injection that is often used for arthritis. And it's thought to help build the collagen, the cartilage. Sorry, I keep saying collagen, build the cartilage. And for some people, it really does work very well. And so I actually do find it works pretty well. But and it's good for psoriatic arthritis. The injections can work for you as well. But here's the thing, and I'm going to say this to all of you, even no matter what kind of arthritis you have, I'm trying to encourage you. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments as they're going. I'm really encouraging you to stay away from the injections for now and work systemically. And the inflammation in your knee or in your joints is coming from somewhere else. That's my message. Yes, sometimes the injections, people with osteoarthritis, like bone on bone, who are really desperate, after we've done all of our work and they really still pain, then definitely injections. Then I'll go with injections. But honestly, I don't think injections are necessary. And I definitely don't do that at the beginning because there's so much you can do. You work with food and we start doing anti-inflammatory supplements and like the high dose oils, and you have to heal your gut. And for the person who just asked about psoriatic arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, you must heal your gut. Osteoarthritis, if you have any digestive symptoms, you also have to have the gut is the home of a lot of origin of inflammation. You've all heard me say that a lot. For today, though, I am trying to help guide you to just, in addition to the gut stuff, what else do you need to do to reduce inflammation and reduce pain? And so we were on sort of fish oils. Now, now, Lisa, your son injured his foot playing basketball. You've been giving him phytonutrients fish oil, 700. So actually, I'm going to, if you don't mind, Lisa, I'm going to show your comment to everybody because they can see your numbers, okay? Giving him vitamin fish oil, 700, which has 2,400 milligrams of, which is 720 EPA, 480 DHA, plus other. He's 15, is one enough? So I would say if you're giving him one, he's getting 720. If I'm getting that right, it's 720 plus 480. So you're around 1,100 or 1,200 for one capsule. You probably want to give him 2, and you might even give him 3 for a little while to try to help get the swelling, reduce the inflammation. The thing that he really needs, and this is the other thing, that, let me see if I can get rid of your thing there. Wait 1 second, I'm trying to get you down. So fish oil. All right, yeah, that's what we were talking about. So, so here's, there's a couple of other things to think about. So fish oil, definitely. And so that's a good one, Lisa, but I would go a little bit higher, right? To help him with the pain. But the other thing that's really good is turmeric. And so you guys, I'm sure, have all have heard of curcumin and turmeric, and there are really good studies on it for inflammation as an antioxidant and for reducing pain. And in arthritis, curcumin is well studied. 1,000 milligrams a day, and I'm going to write it here for you. So it's curcumin, 1,000 milligrams daily. Okay. So there's curcumin. Now there's yes, good. You're giving him that too. So you give him the curcumin, you give him the fish oil, and that's, and you ice it. So you rest it and you ice it, and it's an injury. He'll get over it. But that'll help with the inflammation and the pain. The other thing, so for arthritis though, when you talk about in the studies, now you can use turmeric in your cooking. But you definitely want to use as a supplement for while you're working to get your arthritis under control. And here's the thing: you want to reduce you want to get those antioxidants and anti-inflammatory into you're welcome, Lisa. You want to get it into the joints because you want to prevent any joint damage. And so you want to put out the fire inside the joints as quickly as you can, which is why at the beginning of the program, the dosing gets a little higher, we work a little harder to quiet everything down. And so the studies on curcumin are 500 twice a day, but the 1,000 milligrams is the dose that seems to be very effective. It's in addition to your fish oil, you add this in. Now, the product that I actually like to use, which I don't, let's see. There's a product from Thorne called the studies were actually done with Meriva. And so this is, I don't have it here at my house, but it's a company called Thorne, and they make something called Meriva. And actually the studies were done using Meriva, which is sort of cool. And you take one twice a day. And so these are things to help you lower inflammation. But at the same time, it's really, really good to cook with curcumin, turmeric. It goes in your cooking. Make curry. Use cumin and that whole like Indian kind of spices. They're all actually anti-inflammatory. So I really, really like using food as medicine. Okay. The other thing before we leave the idea of fish oil, and I'm going to put this on the screen, there's something called GLA, which can be borage oil or evening primrose. Don't mind me while I type for a second. And so I don't know if any of you have heard of evening primrose oil or borage oil, but it's an omega-6 called GLA, and I put it up there for you. And so I'm going to answer the rest of these more supplement questions. I see you coming in. Oh, and boswellia is great. I'm going to put all that up for everybody. And so the studies done for arthritis show that the goal is 3 grams of fish oil, but you also want to add evening primrose or borage oil so that you get at least 200. You want to get 250 to 500 milligrams of GLA every day. Okay. And so that's really important. And the two together, sometimes I send people home after the first visit with just vitamin D, because everybody needs vitamin D and it's important for the immune system. Fish oil, GLA, and we work on the gut. Sometimes that's all where we start. Sometimes I'll also add turmeric or the curcumin at the beginning. Now, somebody posted about, let me just see what else came up. So hyaluronic acid, what dosage? Is this good for psoriatic? Yes. My hands are so stiff in my joints, I have Sjogren's. Yes. So that's another kind of arthritis. So when we talk about autoimmune arthritis, we're talking about rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, but a lot of Sjogren's people with lupus, other autoimmune diseases like Sjogren's also have autoimmune arthritis. And it's systemic inflammation ending up in your joints. And you're gluten sensitive. So we talk about food. We'll do that in a second. Well, actually, I'm happy to. I've been talking. This is our 5th session together, and I did a lot. We've done a lot of food up till now, but I can certainly add more about that. What do you advise? What advice do you have for me to get pain relief? I had a Nissen fundoplication surgery due to acid reflux. A Nissen fundoplication surgery. Boy, I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it sounds like you had something done to tighten the sphincter so that you above your stomach. Fundo makes me it sounds like it's your stomach. So you had some sort of surgery to prevent your reflux. So Susan, I'll tell you right there, if you're talking about that you had reflux and you have terrible swelling in your joints, you must heal your gut. I know you've got gut issues if you have reflux. If any of you listening out there have any digestive symptoms, even if you don't, but especially if you do, reflux, gas and bloating after you eat, heartburn, constipation, diarrhea, alternate, any abdominal pain, nausea, chronic anything. If you're taking antacids or PPIs and you've been taking them for a while, you absolutely have gut issues. And your microbiome is likely out of balance. And if your microbiome is not in good shape, you're going to have leaky gut. Oh, I'm hiding this. So you absolutely have to heal your gut. And so, Susan, if you're having the stiffness and pain in your hands is coming from your leaky gut. And so the first thing that you do is you immediately have to go on a leaky gut diet and a leaky gut food plan. And the leaky gut food plan I call it my leaky gut diet for arthritis. And you remove the basics, which is gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, sugar, always sugar, processed foods, processed carbohydrates, minimizing grains, but gluten-free grains, I don't remove them completely for everybody. You might need to, you'll see. And you also remove the nightshades, tomato, potato, eggplant, and peppers. And you get started on a leaky gut diet and you start working on healing your gut. And I almost brought those supplements. I didn't have them at home. I have my branded ones. I didn't want to be promoting my own supplements, but there's all sorts of herbs that we use to cleanse the overgrowth of bacteria and yeast from the gut. So you need to do some sort of a gut cleanse. And there's all sorts of herbs that we like to use, like berberine and uva ursi and black walnut and artemisia. And I tend to use a lot of different blends. I talk about it. It's in the book. Okay. Yes, Susan, it's all in the book. Okay. And I give you all the dosing and exactly what to take and how to take it. Okay. And so it's all in the book. And as you're going, and here's the thing for all of you listening, and I'm just going to put this up for a second because I'm really proud of this. On my website, blumhealthmd.com, on blumhealthmd.com, I have a support button. And it's at the bottom right corner of the page, and it just says support. And you click on it, and you send in an email question to my health coach. And if she can't answer it, she asks me. And so in an ongoing way, as you're working on healing your gut, you can go and you can get those questions answered. Okay, so just wanted to let you know. So, question then about so I saw that coming in. Wait, oh goodness. Let me just see the questions. What is there left to eat if you stop eating all those things? I wanted to ask those. I wanted to answer that. And I also, Candice, you said I've eliminated all of those, almost there, I think. And so here's the thing. So let's not talk about what you're not eating. Let me tell you what you're eating. You're eating every vegetable except corn. Well, actually, wait, I take it back. And tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and peppers. So I take it back. You're eating tons of vegetables. So you're eating all the cruciferous vegetables, which are great for your liver. So cauliflower, broccoli, bok choy, one of my personal favorites, all the greens and all the lettuces and kale and spinach and zucchini and onions and garlic. And you can eat tons of vegetables. And now that we're coming into winter, it's a lot easier to, the Mediterranean eggplant and peppers, so you have to pass on those. But you start exploring other things. So you start putting radishes in your salad and interesting things like celery root and I don't know. I go now and I just try to find stuff in the store that I have never tried, and you cook it or you stick it in your salad. I mean, it's really great. So tons of vegetables, right? And so those are all the vegetables. You can eat all legumes if you want, lentil salad, but no soy. So what? You can have quinoa and rice. You can have plenty of grains, and there's so many options. And you know what? When it comes to grains, gluten, so you get rid of gluten, but you can do all those other things. You still, if you want to lose weight, and if you have really bad gut symptoms or you have really severe autoimmune disease, you might need to limit all the grains. And so some people, that's sort of the more paleo autoimmune kind of way of eating. And you might find that you feel better really reducing all the grains. But for my basic arthritis food plan that we start with, I always leave gluten-free grains in there. So quinoa is a seed and buckwheat is a seed, so they're not technically a grain, and most people can tolerate them. So you can eat all of that. And so when you take out eggs, so what? So you can so protein, you want to take out eggs, you want to take out sausages and processed meats and all of that. But you can have turkey and you can have chicken and you can have fish. There's plenty to eat. And so what else did I take out? Gluten, dairy. Oh, dairy. So here's the thing. Dairy is so inflammatory for most people, and the kind of dairy that are we have in the United States, at least where I live and where a lot of you are tuning in from, we have like the way we feed our cows, the kinds of cows, and it's inflammatory for most people. So most people feel really good without dairy, and now there's so many options. So you can do coconut products and almond milk products, and so there's coconut milks and almond milks and nut milks and cashew milk, and there's a lot of options. And so there's calcium in all vegetables. 1,000 years ago, the paleo man, there was no domesticated animals. They did not eat. In the biblical times, maybe when if the mother died, they gave them some goat milk, the kids. But hi from Ohio, Joyce. But we did not. In biblical times, we didn't domesticate cows. Nobody had cow milk, and everyone had strong bones. Okay, so there's plenty of calcium in all vegetables, so you don't have to worry about that. So now you can see there's plenty to eat. So in terms of goat and sheep cheese, what I would say is, in terms of dairy, at first for the leaky gut diet, you have to remove all dairy. And when it comes time to reintroduce the foods after a month or so, and you see how you feel, you could test the cow and the sheep and cheese and to see if it gives you digestive symptoms or if it flares your arthritis. Moving on to soy, somebody had a question, why can't they have soy? Here's the thing about soy. The problem with soy is that most of the soy that we eat in our country is commodity grown, meaning it's genetically modified and it's filled with herbicides and toxins. And because it's not really because of these things, because the soy is not the whole soy flares me, dairy and eggs. Most people, I'm sorry, people are writing in telling me all the things that are flaring them. Most people will find that foods flare them, and believe it or not, soy is a trigger for a lot of people. So it's just remember, this is temporary. I'm inviting you to do a food experiment that's very temporary. You're going to do it for anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. And then when you're done, you're going to reintroduce each food and test it. Believe it or not, soy triggers digestive issues for a lot of people. And like I said, most soy is GMO in this country. And any GMO foods have a lot of herbicides in them because the genetically modified seed is engineered so that it can resist Roundup, which is the herbicide. And this is Roundup has the active compound called glyphosate. I think we talked about this on my live before. And glyphosate is really damaging to the gut. And leaky gut, if you have arthritis, is your enemy. You do not want, we're working on healing your leaky gut. And so eating foods that have a lot of glyphosate in it is really dangerous for you. And it'll undermine your whole ability to heal your gut. And so when you think about soy, so the soy seed, let's say here's your seed, and the farmer plants the seed and it grows and it's the soy plant. Well, the farmer dumps a lot of Roundup on the soy plant because it's engineered to withstand the Roundup. So GMO soy plants have very, very high levels of glyphosate on it. And so and the other thing is about soy. And this is true about corn as well. So when I'm talking about soy, it's sort of the same thing about corn. Soy and corn are the two most highest commodity crops now in the United States. They're the highest percentage of genetically modified in our food supply, and they have the highest levels of glyphosate. And when you eliminate all the soy and corn from your diet, you're going to have to read labels. Like, you're not going to believe where you're going to find soy and corn. You're going to find like soy protein and soy isolates and corn starch and corn, all sorts of corn, products, corn syrups and corn syrup solids. It's in all the processed food. And so somebody just said sugar beets are now GMO as well. And so I don't know that, but that could very well be true. But processed food has enormous amounts of soy and corn in it. And so what happens is you're exposed to so much soy and corn, you're not going to believe it. And so the body becomes sensitized to these proteins when you eat so much of it. And so that's why you might not be realizing it, but you're exposed to so much soy and corn that you need to pull it out of your diet just to see if your body's become sensitized to it at this point. So that's a whole little rant about soy and corn, but that's why we pull it out. And that's why it's really good to take it out for a little while. So a lot of people are saying some seed corn comes Roundup ready. I know we used to plant 50 acres of it. Makes me sad now. It's called Roundup Ready seed. And that's why it's Roundup Ready. It's genetically modified so it will withstand the Roundup. And so therefore you put that seed in, and the Monsanto sells that seed with the Roundup. It's like they go together. Plant this seed and dump Roundup on it, and it's Roundup Ready. And it turned out it's like a whole generation of farming and agriculture that we're learning now, and there's this whole pushback about it, but a whole swath of the Midwest of our country has been planted with these seeds, and it's really a big problem. I really think someday we're going to look back and remember this big experiment we did on ourselves in the second half of the 20th century with the way we changed our agriculture and food producing processes in a way that really undermined our health. And so we really have to, it's like trying to navigate the world of food, which is really, really hard. So Candice, I'm going to show this because it looks so great. 90% of corn, soy, wheat, and sugar beets are GMO Roundup ready. And so when we talk about, boy, a lot of you, those of you who are on the Facebook page, you can look at everybody's comments while I pause and take a sip of water. But this is absolutely a problem. And so, Roundup Ready. So it's a thing called Roundup Ready. And so that's what happens with the GMO seeds. And so all these plants, you got to remove them to heal your gut and also to test yourself and see, because they're so crept into our whole food supply that if you have inflammatory arthritis, you have a leaky gut. I'm pausing because it's just a fact. And so if you have a leaky gut, you're going to be sensitive to the foods you're eating. And so because you've eaten so much soy and corn without realizing it, it's likely you're a little sensitive to soy and corn. Now, I did my first elimination diet back in 2000, back in 2001. And I could not eat soy and corn. Like, I was so sensitive to all those foods for so long. Now I can have soy and corn sometimes, but it's just not really in my diet. But now organic soy, whole organic soy, I'll eat it sometimes. And fermented soy is especially, the macrobiotic people will tell you all the benefits of fermenting soy, tempeh. Occasionally I'll eat that, but I just don't feel great when I eat it. It doesn't agree. And I've determined that. So I'll eat it sometimes, and I don't worry too much about if I'm someplace where there's soy sauce and I have a little soy sauce. Okay. But I'm 17 years from my first elimination diet. So I've worked on healing myself for all these years. And so now I can do that sometimes, and I'm aware of what happens. Occasionally I'll have organic non-GMO corn chips. Very, very rarely in the summer will I have corn on the cob anymore, but I really don't eat much corn either. When you eat whole foods or whole foods diet, you end up eliminating a lot of those foods because they've snuck into all of the processed foods, the boxes, the cookies, the cakes, the pretzels, all that stuff is in there. So, well, we have 7 minutes left, and so let's see if there's anything interesting that we can I can answer a question for somebody. Oh, Candice, that's so good. So Candice says this is what happens. You come to a lot of us who are healers who have come to functional medicine and learned to practice medicine this way. We got here because of our own health condition and our own desire to learn to heal ourselves in a different way. And so Candice just said from her own illnesses, she found functional medicine, and she's starting the Functional Medicine Health Coaching Academy in February. So congratulations, that's great. So IFM, the Institute for Functional Medicine, created a functional medicine coaching academy specifically to train health coaches in how to work as a health coach, understand functional medicine as a health coach. It's great. Actually, our health coach, I sent her through that program. So she's just finishing it up. And I actually think I'm doing a live Q&A with that group in December. So that maybe they'll tape it so you get to see it. So that's great. So Dolores asked, having trouble with gut, did you say chicken is okay? Yes, chicken. But again, this is another thing about, maybe I'll end with my 5 guidelines for choosing food. And so here's the thing about animal. One of the guidelines for choosing food is you must choose, you're eating where your animal came from. Okay, so you're eating what your animal ate. It's a Michael Pollan quote. So I love if any of you have never read about Michael Pollan, he's written amazing books. One's called The Omnivore's Dilemma. And yes, so exactly. No factory farm chicken. Candice is telling you, Dolores, no factory farm chicken. That's what I was going to say, is that you're eating what the chicken ate. So there are chickens that when you eat them, it's more inflammatory for your body. And there are chickens when you eat them where it's not. And so you really need that organic, free range, pastured, if possible, chickens. It's really hard to necessarily, find that, but you have to really do your best to try. Otherwise, you're eating chickens that were given antibiotics and hormones and are stressed. They're living in these stressful environments. And there's some really fascinating studies actually about, the animal stress hormones, that you're eating the animal stress hormones and it causes your own stress because they die, they're killed and their cortisol is really high, and then you're eating all that cortisol. So I've actually seen some studies on that, which makes you not want to ever eat animal. But so when it comes to chicken, look for that. When it comes to meat, in terms of meat, stressed animals are higher in omega-6. Stressed meat is just not what our body wants. Exactly. So in terms of what meat, grass-fed, grass-pastured, grass-finished beef, organic, no pesticides, no hormones, and humanely treated and humanely slaughtered. Chickens, I tend to go with kosher organic chickens actually because they're slaughtered in a way that's real. They're not stressed, but yeah, really, really interesting things about food. God, I did this great interview. For those of you you all watched the Arthritis Summit, didn't you? Well, if you saved it and you have the Arthritis Summit, I interviewed a lot of people for the Arthritis Summit, and God, that I did that whole interview with John. Oh my God, I'm having a moment where his last name. It was the greatest interview, and he talked all about food, and we did and he talked about the kinds of cows and the kinds of chickens and the kinds of eggs, and you're eating what the animal ate. And so you absolutely have to choose your animals wisely. And this comes with fish also. I mean, look, you don't even know where fish come from. You don't know what the fish ate. They're coming from the ocean. And so fish is a whole nother ball of wax. And so there are people, you read stories about marine biologists or, that won't eat fish because they see how toxic the oceans are. And so you could get yourself thank you. Thank you, Tom. John Bagnulo. I love him. His name is John. If any of you ever haven't seen it, I always pronounce his name wrong. Oh, I was having a moment. John Bagnulo. I'm going to promote him. He's a PhD nutritionist. He is the coolest guy. And we gave away his talk for the Arthritis Summit. He was one of the free for the registration because it was so good. And we just did great interesting food stuff. He talked about Guernsey cows and Holstein cows and the kinds of casein that their dairy has. So food is really important. So here's your 5 guidelines for choosing food in my last 2 minutes. Number 1, no sugar, no processed sugar, processed flour, processed food, right? So simple guideline, right? Get the sugar out of your diet. Number 2, so quality carbohydrates. If you're going to eat carbohydrates, get rid of all the processed food. Thank you, Tom. You saw the interview with John. Yeah. Oh, it was so great. I love that. I'm sorry. I'm going to come back to my 5 guidelines for a second, but I do have to just say that for the most of you were invited, you were all participants in the summit because you're the ones we sent the email to say, come watch me on Facebook Live. And so, at first it was a little intimidating to interview all these, colleagues of mine who I think of as so brilliant. And then I ended up just having fun, and I ended up really just learning from them. And I genuinely had these questions, and I really enjoyed every one of those interviews. And if you have those, go back and look at John Bagnulo. But all the food people, Kathy Swift, we talked about just a basic anti-inflammatory diet. All these things I was going to say is the kinds of carbohydrates you're eating, the kinds of carbohydrates you're eating. I'm sorry, I'm watching questions come in. So no sugar, get it out. Healthy fats, we just talked about that. Where your animals are coming from, get rid of the toxins in your food, and focus on eating color, the rainbow. Deanna Minnick talked about the whole rainbow. Where you can get the Arthritis Summit interviews is, unfortunately, you can't see it live anymore. And so you can still purchase it if you want. And it's just thearthritissummit.com. And so I think that website's still up. thearthritissummit.com. And so I think that website's still up. And I mean, the summit guys still have it up, and you can still purchase the summit, I'm pretty sure. You get it sort of as a download. And so we did a whole day of food. And so Deanna Minnick, and we talked all about anti-inflammatory diet and choosing food. And we did a whole conversation with Vicki Peterson on gluten and elimination diet. And so food is so important. And so supplementation just really enhances what the food should be doing for you. And, I promise you, down the road, you learn to eat this way, and it really reduces your inflammation, and you really will feel better. So I'll leave that website up for now. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. So good. So go check out the Arthritis Summit. It's an amazing resource. I interviewed 35 people, really, really, really good. And there's osteoarthritis day, there's rheumatoid arthritis, there's an autoimmune day, there's a whole day on stress. All these things are really, really important. So it's 9:00, time for us to go. And thank you, Candice. Everyone, you can learn from each other. The other thing I want to also tell you guys is that there's if you go back to blumhealthmd.com, I'll leave you with that, because when I'm not here to answer your questions, we can answer your questions there. I have an amazing health coach, and there's this really inexpensive coaching program that she's running right now that you can do with her with the book. And so I'm trying to help support you in any way I can. So I will see you all again soon. Have a really good week. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families. And until the next time, be well. Work on food and stress. That's the ultimate way that your gut's going to stay healthy too. So have a good week, and I will talk to you all soon.